Starting over looks noble from a distance. Up close, it feels humiliating, slow, and almost impossible. You stare at the blank page. You delete the plan. You promise tomorrow because today already feels too ruined. This is the story of a man who lived there for years. An old notebook became the first thing that changed. Wade Mercer was 39, living in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and working warehouse nights. He was sober, ashamed, and quietly exhausted. His alarm rang at 4:45 each morning. The room in his small apartment still smelled like detergent and old worry. He drank coffee from a chipped mug. Then he pulled on his warehouse vest and walked past worn-out boots. Most people thought his hardest years were behind him. Wade knew recovery could still feel like standing on ice. Under fluorescent lights, he scanned boxes at the loading dock. Steam rose from trucks backing into the bay. He ate lunch from a brown paper bag. By noon, his shoulders already felt older than they were. His paycheck vanished into rent, court fees, gas, and groceries. Every month ended before his money did. He had stopped drinking. That was the part nobody had explained to him. Endurance can keep you alive without moving you forward. A closed notebook sat beside his bed for weeks. A counselor had suggested journaling, and Wade kept avoiding it. Writing things down felt dangerous to him. Spoken failures fade faster than written ones. But Wade was about to learn something fear never admits. Vagueness protects nothing except the problem. He had already tried dramatic restarts, Monday plans, new alarms, fierce promises whispered at bathroom mirrors. He bought running shoes he barely wore. He downloaded habit apps and deleted them by Thursday. Every burst of motivation ended the same way. 3 hard days, then a crash, then heavier shame. This is where many people stay for years, inspired just enough to begin, but never structured enough to continue. Wade kept chasing a different future with the same blurry habits. He wanted change without measurement. He told his supervisor he was getting serious. He told his sister too. His words sounded thinner each time. Promises made without proof begin to feel rented. People hear them, but they no longer lean on them. Then one rainy Thursday, his card declined at the gas station before dawn. 3 people stood behind him silently. He had been sober 8 months by then, yet $43 still felt like a wall he could not climb. He drove home on fumes and anger. The windshield wipers beat time like a tired metronome. Bills covered the kitchen counter when he walked in. Clinic balance, phone notice, court payment, and overdue utilities. He opened the freezer and found almost nothing. Just ice trays, cheap bread, and the stale taste of defeat. Picture this. Wade sat at his kitchen table near midnight, calculator glowing, doing the same hopeless math again. He whispered, "I'm trying," to an empty room. The room gave him nothing back. The next morning, too restless for sleep, he skipped his meeting and walked into Marla's diner at sunrise. In the back booth sat an old baker named Otis Clay. Flour still dusted his sleeves and cuffs. Otis noticed Wade staring at those folded bills. He did not ask nosy questions or offer bright slogans. He simply slid a weathered notebook across the table. The cover was brown, cracked, and softened by years. Its corners curled inward like dried leaves. Inside were tiny dates, pencil marks, and clean little columns. Wade asked why a baker carried something so small. Otis smiled and said, "Because memory lies when life hurts." Then he tapped the page with one finger. "This kept me steady after I buried my wife," he said. Wade looked up at him then. Ordinary men rarely speak that plainly unless truth has already cost them. Otis took a slow sip of coffee. Then he said the line Wade would remember for years. "What you record honestly, you can rebuild slowly." He said it like a man describing gravity. Not magic, not motivation, just a quiet sentence that landed harder than any speech Wade had heard. Otis explained that ruined lives stay ruined when days disappear uncounted. Trouble loves fog. Healing needs evidence. Then he turned to a blank page and drew 3 small columns beneath that day's date. But Wade was about to hear something even more surprising. The method sounded almost too small to respect. Otis wrote 3 labels with careful block letters. Tell the truth. Keep 1 promise. Mark 1 mercy. First, write what is real each morning. money owed, craving felt, fear named, no dramatic storytelling. Second, keep one promise before noon. Pack lunch, make the bed, return a call, show up early. Third, mark one mercy at night. A clean hour, a saved dollar, a hard moment survived. 10 minutes a day, Otis said. No more. Big plans had already frightened Wade long enough. Wade frowned at the page. He wanted a breakthrough, not 3 pencil lines on cheap paper. Otis barely reacted. A building stands because somebody measured it first, he said. Your life is no different. This is the part most people never see clearly. Grand change usually enters wearing work clothes and carrying small tools. Otis pushed the notebook closer. Half the pages remained blank. Earn the rest, he said quietly. Wade almost refused it. Taking hope felt risky when he had dropped so much of it before. Still, he slipped the notebook into his jacket pocket. It rested against his chest like borrowed courage. On the drive home, even the red lights felt different. He finally had a beginning small enough to trust. If Wade's story sounds familiar, stay close here. The smallest honest habit can become a handrail. If you've been scared to start because the mountain looks too high, this next part matters. Comment below if you know that feeling. Then come right back, because Wade's hardest work started quietly. Day 1 felt almost insulting. He wrote O Clinic $2012, craving at 6, scared most of today. Then he underlined one promise, pack lunch before work. It sounded childish, which embarrassed him. He did it anyway. That night he wrote one mercy, did not turn into liquor store. The first week bruised his pride more than his body. Tiny tasks exposed how often confusion had protected him. Some mornings he stared at the blank page for 10 full minutes. Honesty felt sharper than hunger. On day 4, he lied in the notebook. Then he read it back and hated the softness. He crossed the sentence out hard. Wanted to quit, sat in truck 20 minutes. That truth helped more. By the 7th day, he had 7 dates in a row. Nothing glamorous, everything suddenly visible. Then the first small win arrived. He stopped buying gas station snacks and saved $12 that week. $12 would not rescue a life, but it proved his hands still answer direction. Day 14 revealed patterns he had never admitted. Cravings hit hardest after overtime payday and bad sleep. So he changed one route home. No liquor store corner. No just looking excuse after late shifts. 2 weeks later, the brown paper bag returned every day. Packed lunch became a quiet declaration of intent. But Wade was learning something deeper now, compounding as a sound, and it sounds like temptations closing softly. Day 30 arrived with a cleaner room and steadier eyes. Even his old boots stood straighter by the door. His supervisor noticed he was early 3 mornings in a row. Reliable meant eventually become visible. Wade used the notebook during lunch breaks too. One truth, one promise, one mercy. Same ritual, steady hands. What happened next mattered more than money at first. He started trusting his own word again. At 41 days sober beyond mere survival, he paid the clinic balance. The receipt shook in his pocket. At 50 days, he called his sister Leah from the parking lot after work. His voice stayed calm. He did not ask for praise. He simply said, "I'm keeping records now. I'm staying clean today." Leah was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "That sounds like you mean it." Wade cried after the call ended, not because he was weak, but because sincerity finally had weight again. 2 months later, the notebook had changed shape in his hand. Soft edges, darker thumb marks, surer writing. The warehouse manager asked who reorganized the damaged return shelf near Bay 3. Wade had planned it on paper. He showed the notebook page calmly. Dates, counts, labels, and steps. For once, his mind looked trustworthy. A week later, they moved him from pure loading into inventory support. The raise was small but real. Small was fine now. Wade finally understood that small things were carrying him farther than panic ever had. This is where many people quit too early. They want fireworks while real change arrives like sunrise. 3 months after the diner morning, Wade had 90 dated entries, 90 pages of visible evidence. His apartment still looked modest. Second-hand couch, then curtains, and old dishes, but the counter stood clear. He paid bills on Fridays with the notebook open. Red numbers became dates, then amounts crossed out. Otis saw him one dawn at the diner and laughed softly. "Look at you. You're standing straighter already." Wade lifted the old notebook and smiled. "It's ugly," he said. Otis nodded. "So is scaffolding." By summer, Wade kept a small emergency envelope labeled "Breathe First." $50 became $200. He bought new work boots and kept the old pair by the door. They reminded him who had walked here. When temptation returned, it did not arrive as a dramatic monster. It came as fatigue, loneliness, and payday quiet. But Wade recognized the weather before the storm now. The notebook had taught him his own climate. He wrote before danger became a story. Tired, angry, need sleep, need meeting, do not drive east. That single line saved him twice, maybe more. Most disasters begin as details people refuse to name. Here is the lesson hidden inside that old notebook. A broken life rarely needs louder promises. It needs faithful evidence. Small records make truth visible, and visible truth becomes change you can repeat. You do not rebuild by feeling ready. You rebuild by naming today and keeping one small word. Fear hates measurements. It prefers blur, delay, and beautiful excuses. Growth loves a dated page. If that lands in your chest, do not rush past it. This may be the turning point you needed. Wade did not become new overnight. He became trustworthy in inches, and inches slowly carried him home. So here is your challenge for tonight. Find a notebook, receipt paper, or a blank note on your phone. Write today's date, then write 3 things: 1 truth, 1 promise, 1 mercy. Keep it plain. Tomorrow morning, write it before the world gets loud. Then, keep 1 promise before noon. Do that for 7 days, not perfectly. Honestly, the power is not performance, it is pattern. If you miss a day, restart quietly. Shame counts failure forever. Wisdom counts the next faithful step. Keep the notebook where you can touch it, beside your bed, in your truck, next to lunch. Let it become physical proof that your life is no longer drifting unnamed. That matters more than pride. And if you are recovering from anything, not only addiction, this still applies: debt, grief, anger, fear. What you face honestly shrinks to human size. What you avoid grows teeth in the dark. Wade stopped waiting for confidence to arrive first. He let action introduce confidence, 1 dated page at a time. Months later, Leah visited his apartment and noticed the notebook first. It sat beside paid bills. She held it carefully and asked, "This little thing did all this?" Wade smiled and shook his head. "No," he said, "truth did." Then he placed the notebook back on the table. The notebook was only the doorway. Walking through it every day rebuilt the man. If you are ready to start small, write, "Today I begin," in the comments below. Let that sentence witness you. Sometimes commitment grows stronger once it has been spoken aloud. And if stories like this steady your heart, subscribe to Purpose Tales and stay for the next one. We tell these stories because quiet people carry heavy battles. They deserve reminders that change remains possible. Wade's life was not rebuilt by 1 heroic moment. He was rebuilt by 10 honest minutes, repeated faithfully. Remember this: when fear tells you the first step is too small, small steps are what stairs are made of. The page does not judge you. It only tells the truth long enough for healing to begin. Every broken future starts healing the day you stop guessing and start recording.